Yeah, it should be good. I'm just gonna start recording. This is how I start recording every single episode.
Cool.
I don't know. Like last episode, I deliberately waited for as long as I could to do the intro, so I'm gonna see how long I can wait this time. They also it was really funny because the other people didn't introduce themselves until like 20 minutes in, just because I'm like, it's so funny.
Yeah, who was the last?
It was Sloth.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Some people have been trying to have on the podcast for forever.
Yeah, I love them.
They're the whole reason
guys.
They're the whole reason I started doing this thing, because I went to one of their shows with Felspar.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I want to talk to the people in Boone, and then I started doing this.
That's
and then
awesome.
so they tried to guess my next two guests because they're like, oh, we want to know. So I was having you were next, and I was like, what do I say? So I said Cameron, like you were the first guest. I was like, God damn it.
I mean, that makes sense. I feel like Jake and I are really close, so I feel like
Yeah.
that makes sense. He would have guessed that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It just
funny.
happens that way. Everybody in Boone knows each other.
I know.
Especially if you're in the music
That's
scene or
so
like the
true.
creative scene.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody.
No,
And then I'm slowly forcing myself in by
Into
talking
that.
to people.
Yeah, Lily and I were actually, Lily De La Pena and I were just talking about that today.
Oh
like
my
how
God.
small everything is. Like,
It's because you get into it at first and you're like, oh, it's super small. It's a super like small knit community,
which is awesome.
which is
Yeah,
awesome. But then it also feels a lot bigger than it is too.
That's true.
Boone just has a really
Yeah.
good music scene in general.
It does, yeah. I feel like it always has since I've lived here. Because I've lived here for like almost 5 years now.
Holy
Which
shit.
is crazy. Yeah.
I remember hearing from one of my guests that there was a crazy like punk scene in Boone in the 80s too.
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't know really much
That's what
about
I've
that,
heard at
but
least. What I heard,
believe
as
it.
far as I know, how it goes is there was a really big punk scene in the 80s.
Mhm.
And then I think the music scene died down up until maybe a few years ago.
Gotcha.
Like
I know-
starting in like 2015, I think.
Okay, I think
I'm not
in the-
sure.
In the early 2000s, I know my buddy Justin's band actually played a house show with Knock Loose in Boone. So
Damn.
in like, I think he said like 2010. So I guess
Mhm.
2010s. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I just want to go back in time and just like, when did it start?
I was like, I would have been way too young to go to something like that back then, but that would be so cool. I can't imagine seeing Knocked Loose.
Dude,
and
every time I go to a local show up here, I feel like a little kid. Because
yeah.
up until this point where I started going to local shows, I had rarely ever been to a concert. I've never been to a
Okay.
normal, like big band
like general admission.
Yeah,
like,
I've never
okay.
been to a concert before. I've been to like like local shows where some
Yeah.
it's like 40-year-old dudes that are just like doing a cover bands. But like,
Right, yeah.
when I come up here, I remember. So I went to the first show I went to was Sloth and Felspar.
Mhm.
And then I remember when I went to Gain and Composure's last show of last year.
Okay, yeah.
Because one of their members is in Ireland right now for like 6 months.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know, it's nuts. And I remember I showed up to the show and they were all like, oh, it's BoonePod! And I don't know, because I told them I was coming and they were still shocked that I actually showed up.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
then
awesome.
I've had a few other bands be like, hey, you should come to our shows. And then I'm like, I might. And then I remember one time, who was it? It was Weasels. They're like, hey, man, you should come to our show. And it was at like midnight. And I remember I was laying in bed and I got up out of the bed and I checked my phone and I was like, fuck. And I missed their show.
Yeah, that's fair. Time
But-
is a fun concept.
It is.
It always passes by either too quickly or too slowly.
It is.
Never normally.
And it sucks that time goes by so quickly when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people who come on the show that aren't used to doing podcasts,
Mhm.
they'll always, like, we'll be at, like, an hour into the episode, and they'll be like, how much time are we at? And then I'm like, oh, we're at, like, an hour and 5 minutes. And they'll be like, what?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like you're talking for an hour straight.
I know. That's what I was worried about. I was like, I don't know. I also hate talking about myself. So, like, just doing that for that long is...
If it makes you feel better, doing this show has made me feel better about talking about myself. So.
That's fair.
Because
yeah.
the first episode I ever did, I was super nervous about putting it out because I'm like, oh, people are going to hate my voice.
Yeah.
They're going to hate everything. And now here I am. Like last episode, we were making these nuts jokes. So here we are.
Exactly.
We're doing pretty good. I think I'm doing pretty good now.
That's
It's
fair,
just,
yeah.
I always want to do a longer episode, but then a lot of the people that I have on are like super busy. Like, imagine, like, you and, like, Felspar and Sloth are, like, all super busy.
Mm-hmm.
So it even just feels kind of crazy that I can even have some of the people that I have on.
That's true. Yeah.
Because I've been wanting to have Sloth on since I started.
Mm-hmm.
But then every time we would try and match up a time, and it would just never work out.
I was gonna say that's got to be harder too with bands, just because you've got more people to coordinate times with and everything.
So it really depends on how many people are in the band and how many shows the bands play.
That's fair.
Because the more shows a band plays, the more they have to practice, the more they have to do that.
Yeah.
So basically, the more popular the band is, the harder it is to schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But then with like, if it's a smaller band that maybe just started out, they're usually easier to get on.
That's true.
And then I also just like giving everybody free publicity. So
Yeah.
I always tell all my guests that it's like if I have you on the show, you have my approval. Because I'm like, if you're on my show, I'm like, I think you're cool and awesome.
That's awesome.
Because I have a lot of people reach out to me and they're like, oh, your music podcast. I'm like, it's not a music podcast, man.
Yeah.
It's for creatives.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, 99% of my guests are like bands or musicians.
Yeah.
It's like, because I've been wanting to have more like photographers and artists on, but then like the last artist I had on was Danny Casses. He's really cool. I really like his art. And then I've been wanting to have more photographers on, and you were the first one I could actually get a hold of.
Okay.
So, well, because I was talking to one of my friends about it, and they're like, why don't you have any more, like, any people other besides bands? I'm like, anybody that doesn't do music is, like, infinitely harder to get on. Because, I think I reached out to you last year.
Yeah, before, Christmas and everything.
Because I wanted to have you on last season, but I couldn't because I bulk recorded, like, the first week of December. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, you know what, I'm going on hiatus.
Yeah. Gotta take time to rest and relax.
I didn't rest or relax the entire time. Well, the week after, I was sitting in my chair playing a game, and I was like, fuck, I want to make more BoonePod stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if that happens with you, but like when I'm not making the stuff I want to make, I'm like, I want to make it.
That's fair. Yeah. Like right now, like winter, I feel like is like dead season.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially December, it's like really slow for like shows and stuff, just because. I mean, most people that are in bands here are in school. So
yeah. They're all
doing
home with their
finals,
parents.
And then they're all going home. Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah. So I haven't really had I have a few things coming up, which is exciting. But before this, I'm dead.
Anyways, guys, welcome to BoonePod Season 2, Episode 3 with
Grapes of Bruisedgrapes Photography.
Let's fucking go. Because see, there we go. We were almost 8 minutes in. Because I was looking over the clock. I'm like, I can push it. I can push it farther. I'm like, I know I can. And then, I want to go one episode where we get to like the hour mark, and then it's like 5 minutes before we end. It's like
you introduce the person.
I know I shouldn't do that, but to me, it's like the bid is so funny.
Be funny. You got to commit to the bid.
I have to. If any, that should be BoonePod's tagline: is commit to the bid.
Yeah. That would be
because
good.
I have this really funny thing that I have. I'll tell you about it. I'll bleep it out in the podcast.
Okay.
Future me, you better fucking do it. But, that's what I plan on doing for April Fools. But, anyways, more about you and the more stuff you do. I know, how long have you been into photography? Has it been something you've been doing, like, since you were, like, a little kid or something?
No, actually, this...
Or is it a more recent thing?
Yeah, this spring, like, end of this semester, will only have been 2 years since I've been doing photography.
Very recent.
Yeah, very recent. I mean, I always knew I wanted to work in the music industry. Like, well, I guess not always, but since, like, middle school. And I was like, I was doing communications, so I could do, like, PR and, like, marketing and stuff. And I was like, I I fucking hate this. Like, this is awful. I think I failed intro to com like 3 times or something, and I was like, okay, it's time to.
You're like, maybe I should
else.
switch it up.
Yeah, and I was like, it was during COVID, and I was like on Zoom with my advisor, and I had a bunch of like Polaroids and stuff that I had taken on my wall. My advisor's like, why don't you think about photography?
And you were like, Eureka!
No
like a
way.
little light bulb
like
above
my
your
room
head.
isn't covered in photos that I had taken. And then as soon as I started doing it, I was like, I have to do.
You're like, all
photography.
right, this is what I need to keep doing.
Yeah, and I love it. It's awesome. Now I can't see myself doing anything else. So yeah.
So when you do photography for bands, do you just like show up and then you give them pictures, or how does that work?
No,
I don't know anything about photography or like professional photography.
Yeah, and it kind of depends on the photographer. Like Jake and I do things differently, but for me, it's like a pre-booked kind of thing. Like put down a deposit and like let me know how much of their set they want me to cover. And then when I give them the photos, they pay me. So it's an in advance kind of thing. I used to just kind of like go to shows when I was starting out, but now
it's like a more professional thing.
Yeah, and I have to reserve
where you lay
my
down
time.
like invoices and all that stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I've seen you at a show before.
Probably.
I may have. Because I know I found another photographer on Instagram that I wanted to have on. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Margaret.
I think it was.
It's just me, her, and Jake, I think,
but
that really
so
do photography.
I realized because I was looking at her Instagram, I'm like, I've seen her before somewhere. And then I remember at the Gain and Composure show, she showed up, and I saw she walked in front of me, and she was walking around the crowd taking pictures, and I was like, oh shit, that's who it was. So
yeah, probably.
I need to message her, and then there's a million people I need to message and be like, hey, do you still want to come on?
Yeah.
Or because I have a list of people that I talked to. Because basically what happened was I bulk recorded the first episode, the first week of December last year. I recorded like 5-6 episodes or something. And what ended up happening is a lot of people weren't able to record that week. So I wrote down on a list. I'm like, here's people that are like, they will be on season 2. I mean, you're on there.
Yeah.
And, but I felt bad for like just not being able to have as many people as I wanted. But then I also, I'm also only doing 1 episode a week now. So so as of recording right now, this will come out 2 weeks from now.
Okay. Nice.
So next week is Sloth's episode.
Okay.
And then the week after that Monday is when this episode will come out.
Cool.
So
nice. Exciting.
Yeah. But I'm doing it so I don't like kill myself with the amount of work. Because doing 2 episodes a week was hectic.
I can't imagine. I know when I get really busy and I have like multiple shows in one weekend, the turnaround is awful. Just like getting all of that done by the time that I need to, and also either being in school when I was or like now working full time. So that's but then at the same time, when I get done doing it, I'm like, that was fun. I do it again. And then the cycle repeated for like 4 months last year. Yeah. Because I remember I had someone ask me, they're like, how do you keep up that schedule that I was doing? I'm like, I hate myself. That's why. Yeah.
It's like I hate myself. That's why I was able to put out 2 episodes. Yeah, like it's fun to do. And then over Christmas break, I was like, why don't I completely redesign all of my logos and all the graphics that I use? And I was like, okay. And then I did it. And then, I like the new stuff. I like it.
I like it too. I like the color scheme and everything.
Thank you. Yeah. It's one of the basic Adobe ones.
That's fair.
Because I was in Illustrator. I'm like, what color scheme should I use? Because last season I was just using like a basic, like kind of mint green, which I still really like. But I was like, this is kind of basic. Yeah. So I was just scrolling through like the Adobe, here's the Adobe 2021 color collection, and it's called like if you guys want to use the color scheme that I use, it's called like Afternoon 10 or something. It's called like Rainy Afternoon 10 or something. And then the only color that's not on there is like the pink, but a little word for wise, I literally just inverted the background color.
There you go.
So I don't know. But like I said before we started recording, was that this entire podcast has just been me learning how to use the Adobe Suite,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm very grateful for because I've been wanting to learn it for a while, but then also, I just want to punch my laptop.
Yeah. I think that's admirable, though. Like, picking up a new skill not at this age. Like, we're so
At your
old.
age, you need to pick up a new skill.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like it's hard for me to just start something new. Like, I'm, like, not motivated enough to pick up a new hobby. So learning the whole Adobe Suite just because you wanted to start a podcast is pretty admirable.
I've been wanting to do it for years, but I just needed a motivator. Because I'm like, if I'm doing this, I'm like, well, I might as well edit with the stuff that I was already kind of familiar with.
Mhm.
Because I took a digital media class in high school.
Okay.
So I was already, like, kind of, like, I knew my way around all of the Adobe stuff.
Yeah.
But then, I didn't remember any of the specifics because it'd been, like, 4 years or something.
Yeah.
And so
fair.
I just, I'm now a schmuck for Adobe. I pay the monthly subscription.
I know. I was just like, wait, now that I'm not in school anymore, I have to pay for
Dude,
the
when I
Adobe
graduate and I
Suite.
don't have any of the student stuff anymore, what gets me is I'm gonna have to actually start paying the normal rate for Amazon Prime. Because
yeah.
with Amazon Student, it's 6 months for free,
Right.
and then after that, it's $6 a month until you graduate.
Compared to like, I think it's like $100 a year or something.
I
like,
think it's $12 a
even-
month.
Okay. a
So
little
it's
more.
awful.
Yeah. That
Dude,
is-
no, as soon as I graduate, I am not paying for the Adobe Suite anymore.
I have.
Beca-
That's my whole. I have to.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
have
do
to, and it
anything.
sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's like Adobe stuff is the only stuff that I like using.
Yeah.
Because back when I first bought my MacBook, like a year ago now, you get like a free trial of Final Cut Pro for like 3 months.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really like Final Cut Pro, but then when it ended, it's one of those software where you can't pay a monthly subscription for it. You just have to It's nice and bad at the same time. Where it's like you have to outright pay for it. And it's like $300.
But then you have it forever.
But then you have the Adobe Suite, which up front is cheaper.
Yeah.
But then
that's fair.
in the long run,
Yeah.
because I think my subscription now it's the entire Adobe Suite for $20 a month, which is for the Adobe Suite not
That's
bad.
not bad at all. Yeah.
But then I think it's like if I didn't have the student discount, it'd be like $40 or something, $60. It's stupid.
It's stupid. Yeah.
Fuck Adobe. I hate Adobe. But then all I use all of the Adobe apps to make
I hate Adobe, but also I love Adobe because that's all I use.
I hate Adobe, but also I love Premiere
Yeah.
and like Illustrator. And
Yeah. Premiere's awesome. Yeah.
Premiere's cool. Luckily I don't have the problem where I know a lot of people have the problem where it crashes a lot. Maybe the stuff I do on it just isn't complex enough.
Fair. I didn't have that issue when I took a video class and was using it, but
I just know I hear it from like YouTubers all the time where like I hate Adobe Premiere because it crashes a ton.
I could see that if it's just like huge files, maybe.
If it's huge files or maybe it's like an edit's really complex or something.
Yeah.
I will say the only Adobe thing that I don't know how to use is like After Effects. I do not understand After Effects.
I don't think I've even tried to use After
It's
Effects.
it's really good for what it's just like all the other Adobe stuff. It's
Okay.
like it's really good for what it is.
Yeah.
It's honestly I feel like it's the most complicated thing too. But
Yeah.
the listeners are like, stop fucking talking about the Adobe Suite. Fine.
On this podcast,
I will.
on this episode, we'll talk about the Adobe Suite.
I probably could for the entire time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, don't get me started, because I fucking could. I had an episode with Latchwork. He makes really cool like EDM music.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
I think I
Please
saw it
listen to
for him.
Latchwork stuff. It's so good.
Yeah.
But I remember at the end of the last 30 minutes, we just got to talking about Doom, like the first Doom game.
Yeah.
And then like how Doom. Fun fact: the original Doom was installed more times on computers than Windows 95 was.
Huh.
The original Doom had like 9 million downloads or something, and Windows 95 had like 6 million.
Wow.
So Doom was more popular than Windows itself.
Yeah.
That's my fun fact for the day.
That's wild.
My entire brain is just fucking dumb fun facts.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. My brain's kind of fried because the reason why I was late was because I got off of work late.
I was gonna say my brain is also fried from
Yeah.
work. That's how
It's just how it
goes.
is.
Yeah.
And then I've had I've had a bunch of stuff. I had a bunch of really fun stuff recently going on in my life. Like my phone. The charging port stopped working.
Oh.
Like a few days ago, stopped working. And I was like, maybe it's one of my cords. Nope. I have every Apple proprietary cord one can imagine. Nothing. I cleaned out the port. I cleaned it nice. Still doesn't work.
Nothing.
So I just had to order a new phone. It gets here tomorrow. Luckily, as of recording right now, it gets here tomorrow. It's one of the brand new, fancy new ones.
Yeah.
But, and then I won't upgrade again for like 6 years.
Right.
But
yeah, that's how it goes.
it's fun. It's really fun stuff.
Apple products, awesome.
It's one of the Apple is kind of like Adobe for me, where it's like they make really, really good stuff. Like all of the stuff Apple makes is really high quality.
Yeah, like you're not gonna catch me switching to Samsung.
Oh no,
anytime
dude!
soon.
I used to be one of those guys back in middle school,
Okay.
where I was Android only.
Yeah.
I hate Apple. Their stuff is overpriced. And then I switched from my S7 to my current like XS Max, and I was like, why did I ever say that? This phone's so much better than my old one. Why would I ever say that?
You've seen the light.
And then now, it's the same thing with laptops.
Yeah.
I can never go back to a normal Windows laptop I have one of the M1 MacBooks.
Okay.
Dude, it's the best fucking laptop I've ever owned. It's awesome. And then I just kept buying into the entire Apple ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's
That's how it
nice.
goes.
It's nice because it all works together, but in the same time, it's like, there's so much money.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the most recent thing I bought, or the most recent thing I got that made me really feel like a fucking chud Apple fanboy. I got an Apple TV, and then my entire family's like, why can't you be a normal person and have an Amazon Fire Stick? And I'm like,
Or a Roku TV.
you're a
or
I
like-
hate Rokus.
Really?
I hate Rokus. I hate Amazon Fire Sticks. I just hate the way they look.
Okay.
I think they're ugly.
Interesting.
It's a
Okay.
big thing for me.
That's fair.
They're ugly. And then I have an Apple TV, and it's this nice little slick box.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
Yeah,
I
I
guess.
guess.
The aesthetic of it all.
Yeah, I guess. Well, for me, it's just I just don't like the idea of having like a little fucking thumb drive in the back of my TV. I like having
That's
a
fair, but
physical
they have,
thing.
like the Roku TVs now, where it's like built into the TV.
It's
so it
probably the
doesn't have
worst
the-
fucking TV you can buy. I was walking through Walmart the other day, and they had like the Amazon like TV.
Yeah.
I was like, I bet that shit's awful.
That probably is.
It was probably
awful.
made by Jeff Bezos's like child slaves
Yeah,
in
I
China.
don't-
I don't
yeah.
know. This is almost as bad as last episode where we were talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
God.
Because I have some of my fans get mad when I don't talk about the person like who I'm having on enough, like or a
Okay.
band. Like
Yeah.
the last episode we barely talked about Sloth's actual
Sloth.
music,
That makes sense.
and then we
Okay.
were talking about like we were talking about Michael Richards, and like Michael Richards Kramer on Seinfeld.
Okay.
And then we were talking about Jeffrey Epstein's Island,
Yeah.
and it was really funny. But then we barely talked about their music, but it was really good. I don't know, just how it is.
Yeah.
We're at 23 minutes right now.
Okay.
We've got this room until 9:30, or until they kick us out,
Okay.
whichever
Fair.
one comes first.
Yeah. That's fair.
But because I was recording one time with some people, and they were like, "Yeah, you can stay in this room until like midnight. No one else has booked it." But then last time they were very strict. They were like, "The other person's
There's
here."
people coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I just wonder what other people use this room for.
Yeah. I honestly didn't even realize there
Well,
was...
you wouldn't know it was here,
Yeah.
to be fair, because it's this little backed off room, and the sign is above the door,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like almost at the ceiling,
Yeah.
so you barely know.
That's true.
But I don't know.
I guess it's on a need-to-know basis.
It is on a
You know,
need-to-know
recording
basis.
room.
One thing that I've been really worried about is that because I use this room to record almost every episode but one.
Which was Natalie's.
Natalie's and fucking Dantichrist.
Oh, okay.
His episode. Because I recorded that, for context viewers, I don't know if we ever said, I recorded the Dantichrist episode at American Dingo's apartment.
Okay, yeah.
And then Natalie's episode we recorded in the...
RFG.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. I think the
I don't know.
studio.
I wish I could
think
record in there
so.
more because that episode was so.
Yeah.
The audio quality on that. I was listening back to it. I was editing, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
So crisp.
I mean, even though this mic's really good because this is the Shure SM7B. Same mic Michael Jackson used to record Thriller.
Wow.
Same microphone.
That's crazy. Fun fact.
Fun fact. BoonePod's fun facts. I should do that every day.
Yeah.
Just every day release BoonePod's fun facts. And then one is like God is coming for you or something. I don't know, because with my Instagram, I toe this line of like serious posts where I'm like, hey guys, new episode out. And then it's just like where I don't know if you've watched any of the bumpers that I do, like the Adult Swim style bumpers. They're all stupid. But I really like making them.
That's fair. Yeah.
Anyways, back to you. We've been talking about me for long enough. What goes into the photography that you do? Like, is there like a step-by-step process that you follow, or is it just kind of something you come up with the fly every time you do it?
I think it's kind of case by case. Other than when I was still in apps and I was like taking photos in Legends really often, I kind of had like. Because I knew what the lighting was like already. I kind of had a preset like ready that I could just kind of throw on my photos.
So it was like a cookie cutter type thing.
Yeah, but like everything else is kind of case by case because it just depends on the venue and the lighting and like even venues will change their lighting. So shooting.
So it just depends every time you go.
Yeah, it's all case by case. Yeah.
And then like how much do you do? I'm guessing you. Like I said, I don't really know what goes into a lot of like professional photography like you. Do you like how much do you edit the photos afterwards? Is it like as much as the client requests, or do you just do a certain amount every time and then?
No, so it's all kind of my own style. Like I don't think I've ever had anyone ask me to edit something a certain way. They just expect me to edit the way that I usually do.
They see your stuff and they're like, all right. You make quality stuff, so like, all right, we're just gonna let you do what you want.
That's pretty much how it goes. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I heavily edit my photos, but
you just like touch it up.
Yeah.
To look nice.
I just kind of like edit the exposure, make it a little brighter, make things pop.
Because if that's one, I know nothing about photo editing.
Yeah.
Video editing, I'm your man.
That's fair.
Photo editing, I know jack shit.
Yeah. My camera also shoots really like cool toned, so I tend to have to like warm things up.
That's a good question. What camera do you use?
A Canon 6D.
Yeah. I don't know anything about cameras.
I'm not really the one for like technical camera talk either. Like it's really funny to me when I meet other photographers at shows and stuff.
And they're like, "Oh, what camera do you use?"
They ask me, and I know that, but then they'll tell me about their camera, and I'm like, cool.
I'm not sure.
You could have just made up the model of that camera for all I know, especially when it comes to like Nikon or Sony, because I shoot with Canon. I could probably tell you if you're lying about a Canon product.
Yeah.
But like
everything else, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the only cameras I know about are like smartphone cameras, because I know that iPhones in general always shoot cool photos.
Yeah.
They always do. And then what is it like? Samsung's typically shoot. I guess maybe neutral would be the right term. And then Google phones typically shoot very warm photos. Because I watch this tech YouTuber. He's like a god to me, Marquez Brownlee. He just reviews a ton of tech, and I follow him like a religion. Nice. But he does this video every year where he does like the smartphone awards, and then he has this poll that he puts up on his website where it's like blind camera testing, and he'll put up like. He'll put up like, here's a photo from the 14 Pro Max, here's a photo from the brand new Samsung, but he won't tell you what phone it is. You just pick like, which photo do you like more? Okay. And then he's like, every year he's like, yeah, the Google phone won.
Yeah, we had to do that actually in one of my classes with
really?
Sony, Nikon, and Canon. Yeah, to learn like
the differences between cameras.
The same. Yeah,
oh, okay.
But honestly, like.
You just go over your head.
It kind of not went over my head, but like in one ear, out the other, kind of thing.
It went in one ear, and then there was like a filter in your other ear, and it just kind of slowly came out.
The class, I did good.
Okay, well that's all that matters. That's all that matters is that you passed the class.
Like, I know how to use my Canon. I'm not gonna. If I switch, I would switch to Sony. I hate Nikon, honestly.
Why do you hate Nikon?
I don't know.
Are they just are their cameras just annoying to use?
I think it's just it's probably not even that different from a Canon, but
or is it just one of those things where it's like, I just want to use a Sony?
Well, I think when I first started doing photography, I was borrowing my friend's Canon because I didn't want to buy my own camera if it wasn't something that I was going to enjoy. Like, when I first took photo one and everything.
Good cameras are stupid expensive.
So are lenses. Just like,
but like even what's crazy to me, because I've been wanting to get into cameras too. Mm-hmm. But even like the entry level cameras, it's like $600. I'm like, what the fuck?
Even for like used stuff, I don't know. I've gotten most of my stuff I think is used.
That's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Unless you're like dead set on getting something brand new, buy used.
Yeah, used, good condition. You know.
Yeah. But the only thing I don't trust to use is like buying used headphones. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I will not have someone else's earwax in there.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one.
But it's because I know my way around microphones, but like this stuff, like getting into like audio interfaces and amps and DACs, I am very like basic knowledge level. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I know this cable goes here and this cable goes here.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know any of the intricacies.
I know nothing about. I have plenty of friends in the audio and recording and production.
I know more about how to edit audio than I do audio hardware itself.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
You know, it's also the reason. I mean, this mic in here is the only reason. Because like on the website, it literally just says like condenser microphone.
Okay.
Doesn't tell you brand, model, anything.
Yeah.
It just says condenser microphone. So before I started doing this podcast, I was like, I'll check it out. And then I come in here and I see the fucking god of microphones, the Shure SM7B.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. And then I'm like, I have to record in here. Because it's the only soundproof room I know. I mean, this room isn't like amazingly soundproofed, but it's good enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
And also, like, I don't want to record in my apartment where, you know, I have like a HyperX Quadcast S on my gaming setup, and you can hear my neighbor smoking weed.
Right.
Like, I don't want to do
Cars
that.
driving by.
Yeah, no, my apartment would be horrible. I will say Dingo's apartment was really good to record at because I had a portable mic, and it's called like a Handy Zoom 400N. Really nice. The audio quality on that episode was great. But there was a table in between us, and I just sat it down in the middle and started recording. Mm-hmm. And we got to like an hour 55. And we were both like, yeah, we could have gone to 3 hours. But we didn't.
Oh my God. I was going to say, Jackson can talk forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
I love
They
them.
can. 100%. And I love that about them.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember, so they were one of the first guests that I had on, and they reached out to me to be like, American Dingo X BoonePod, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, all right, I need to do some research before I do this episode. So I watched all the American Dingo stuff one time. It was like I had the day off from class, and I was sitting there eating lunch, and I had to stop eating lunch because I was laughing so fucking hard. Because I think there's only 3 episodes of American Dingo.
Yeah.
They are some of the funniest stuff on YouTube I've ever fucking seen.
They're awesome.
I was crying. I was eating a sandwich, and I had to put down the sandwich. But like their stuff is next level. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna listen. They mentioned it on the podcast. I will be on an American Dingo episode one day. I don't know when it's gonna happen.
Okay,
I don't even know if Jackson knows when it's gonna happen.
That's fair.
But eventually, one day,
another BoonePod American Dingo collab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I'm scared to be on American Dingo because the first episode, he hands somebody a jar of piss.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to him on the podcast, and I was like, please tell me it actually was piss. He's like, no. It was water that I put yellow food dye,
coloring.
and then I microwaved it. And I was like, God damn it! I wanted it to be actual piss so bad.
Could see, like, knowing Jackson, I could see it.
Yeah, it's like you totally could
piss.
see it happening.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I was so saddened.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about their fucking My Little Pony OC.
Oh, yeah?
And then a lot of people got really mad at me because I said I was going to put it in the Instagram, and then I didn't. So nobody knows what their My Little Pony looks like except for me.
Oh, my God.
But
maybe they'll find out on the
maybe.
American Dingo show.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that episode's coming out. I haven't talked to Jackson
Yeah.
in like a week. I don't know.
Fair.
But when you're working with Jackson, it's kind of just like they will message you.
Mm-hmm.
It will eventually happen. Things are getting done.
Yeah.
Just give it a
while.
while.
To wait for it.
You have to let them cook.
Have
Yeah.
patience. Yeah.
Something I desperately need more of.
I definitely feel that.
Because I don't know, because I know I'm gonna do a 1 week, 1 episode per week, but then I'm like, what if I just release them? What if I just do it? Because I'm like in the back of my brain, I'm like, it wouldn't take me that long to edit. And then I'm like, no, you need to wait. You need to do your weekly thing.
Yeah.
But
gotta stick to the podcast schedule. Yeah.
The only thing keeping me to the podcast schedule is moral decency
That's right.
and obligation.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, if I do any more, then it's going to set a precedent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was 1 week where I'm like, hey, I posted at the beginning of the week, I'm like, hey, guys, there's going to be 3 episodes. And then I only ended up doing 2. Because I think what happened was the last guest had something come up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just felt stupid. Because I'm like, I told you guys there was going to be 3 episodes. And then
That's
it wasn't.
out of your control.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just happens that way.
Yeah, I get it.
But,
I feel like all artists are too hard on themselves.
I try not to be too hard on myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I am, the only thing I'm hard on myself about is just getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of my biggest goof ups in history was when so the season 2 was supposed to premiere last week, as of recording right now on January 24th. It was supposed to come out last week on Friday at noon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I goofed up and I didn't have all of the graphics done yet. The episode fully edited, but I just did not have all of the graphics done, like the way I was going to do the Instagram post. So what ended up happening was that Sunday, well, I guess this Sunday now, last Sunday.
Yeah.
I sat at my desk for like 5 hours straight. I'm like deciding on how I was going to do, how the graphics were going to look, because the way I do the Instagram posts, it's very cookie cutter. Like maybe every now and then I'll spice it up, but like it's very cookie cutter to the point where all I have to do is like put in a photo, change the title, and then that's all I have to do from there. But
That's how it goes.
all right, we're getting close to the end of our time here. It's 9:23. We got about 8 minutes left. So what I'd like to do at the end of every episode is I like to give my guest like 5 minutes, shout out whoever you want to shout out, and then we'll do the outro. So whoever you want to shout out, I've had people shout out their mom, their dad. A lot of people shout out God.
That's fair. I'm gonna say shout out to Kiss and Make It Better. Their new album, Pure Bliss, just
It is
came
really
out.
good.
It's so good.
I need to have them on this podcast so
Yeah,
bad.
you definitely should. I'm recording a music video with them soon.
Ooh.
So you guys can look out for that in the future. And also the live recording that I did for them
Ooh.
is dropping on YouTube on February 3rd.
Oh my goodness.
So the same day this comes out, or is that what you said? Or that week, I guess. Something like that. Anyway.
February 3rd is a Friday.
Okay.
So this episode will be coming out on the 6th.
So
February
soon
6th.
after. Okay.
So a little bit after,
Soon
but
after, yeah. But yeah.
I'll probably post something about it on my story or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to my mom because she's awesome.
Okay.
And shout out to my guinea pig Peanut. I love him.
Peanut?
Yeah, I was
That's
just hanging
awesome.
out with him before I came here. Yeah, he's awesome. KP always calls him my dog, which I think is fucking hilarious. Shout out to Babe Haven and the Rosies.
More people I need to have on this
Yeah,
podcast.
Yeah. The Rosies are from Ohio. If you don't know them, you should totally check them out. Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to a lot of really awesome
Shout out
good
God.
bands.
Shout out Jesus
God, I
Christ, our
guess.
Lord and Savior. Shout out Joe Biden.
True. Shout out the Cardinal and Lily's because that's where I work and they're fucking awesome.
Shout out the Tater Wedges sign at Lily's.
So true. Yeah.
Does that sign? Do they turn that on when they have like fresh tater wedges?
No, it's just always on. I mean, the tater wedges are always fresh, but like.
Okay,
it's
you
just
all,
always on.
my dream was almost ruined. Like my soul had almost gone to heaven when you said that. I was
Not
like,
we
no.
just fry a bunch at the beginning of the day.
Because I didn't know if it was like Krispy Kreme sign.
No. Oh, that would be funny.
Because that's what I
should
assumed
tell
it was
Seth we
like.
should do that.
But I almost died right here on this episode.
Yeah.
I would have been so sad.
That's fair.
But
yeah.
Shout out Danny DeVito,
True.
my favorite celebrity.
Shout out also Caffeine Daydream just released a single, which is really good.
More people I need to have on the
Yeah.
podcast. There's so many people I want to have on this podcast, but it's so hard to get our schedules to line
Yeah.
up.
Also, shout out Educated Guests, because I just fucking love them. They're so fucking
I
good.
know they are. They're awesome. I love them.
Yeah.
I need to have them on
You
the
should-
podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, okay.
They would be so fucking funny. Like.
To be fair, I did message them, and I don't know if they ever saw the message. Because I messaged them, and then I am like, they're
busy
super
boys
busy.
Right now.
They're so busy.
Recording an EP or finishing it up.
Everybody. I don't know what happened because
Everyone's recording right now.
Yeah, because last semester everybody was like, "Yeah, we're about to start recording," and then this semester everybody's like, "We're recording an EP."
Yeah.
Every single band in Boone simultaneously.
Which is awesome. We're just gonna have a shit ton of new music.
Hopefully, I've had an effect because every band I have on, I'm like, you need to get your shit on Spotify, like Bandcamp. Any band listening, if you have your music on Bandcamp, I will buy it. Like I know, I had Sloth on, and they were in shock that I bought all of their music.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute. That's sweet.
And I will. Anybody I have, if any band that has their music on Bandcamp, I will buy it. I want to support them.
Yeah.
Any band that has merch, I will buy it.
Me too. I'm literally wearing my Caffeine Daydream shirt right now.
Dude, the best piece of merch I've ever gotten was, I think it was BooneCast. They said they were going to give me a beanie. And I was like,
I wanted a beanie
yes!
so bad.
I love BooneCast. They're so cool. They're awesome. Just like everybody I have on this podcast. They're all so fucking cool and awesome.
Yeah.
Boone is so full of, like, rich, creative people.
True.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Rich in the sense that they're, really creative.
Yeah, not
maybe some of them are billionaires. I don't know.
I would rather not know if they are.
Yeah, that would maybe lower my taste for them.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had somebody on and they're like, "Yeah, I'm a billionaire," I'm like, I don't know if I want to have you on.
That's
It's like I wouldn't have Elon Musk on the
Yeah,
podcast.
no, you shouldn't.
Dream guest Bernie Sanders. Oh
That would
my
be fire.
God, I would love to have Bernie Sanders on. Who else? Somebody said they wanted me to have like Luke Combs on. And I'm like, yes. I'd love to have Luke Combs
That's
on.
fair.
It'd be awesome.
I'm not a huge country fan.
Oh
and,
no,
like,
me either. It'd just be the biggest guest of my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially BoonePod.
Yes. See, that's what it is. All right, we're probably going to have to do the outro here. Do you know what the outro is?
I don't.
It's see you later, Booners.
Okay.
Because my fans are the Booners and their parents are the Boomers.
Oh my God. Okay.
Very
that's
big
cute.
brain move of me.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
Everything I do, adorable. But on three.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. See you later, Booners.